Hey, it's Rick Khan from rickkhan.com, and in this video I'm going to give you everything you need to know how to write email copy that sells. Now specifically, I'm going to cover 5 email pro secrets that will change the way you write. Then I'll share a 7-step template that I use with my subscribers to write the emails fast. And if you stay all the way till the end, I'll give you 7 rapid fire psychological tricks to turn your clicks into sales and get your subscribers raving and wanting to buy more things. But first, here's a quick disclaimer, because the information that I reveal in this video, it holds very powerful psychological techniques, and I don't ever advocate that you use any of this for bad. You must be honest and use this for good intentions only, because this stuff is very highly persuasive. But with that said, I first suggest that you go through the entire video so you can get most from what you're about to learn. However, each step is still outlined in the video, so you can actually skip to the parts you want to get there quicker. And just before I get into it, if you want me to write emails and demonstrate a full over-the-shoulder look, just let me know in the comments below, and if I get enough responses, I'll create a video for you on this, because I'm on a mission to deliver you the best information for results of marketing without having to sell you anything or give you a bunch of hype that most gurus promise. I want to give you real results without paying for expensive courses. So stay tuned by subscribing for more videos like this. But saying that, let's get into the first part of this training with the 5 email pro secrets, which is know who you're writing to. Now, you'd be surprised how many people don't fully or barely know who their prospect is. And if you don't know who they are, how can you write to them? You see, knowing your prospects and followers allows you to understand and get into the shoes and minds of how they view their world. You can't write a single word until you know their problems, their wants and desires, and how they speak. So get into chat groups on Facebook, go to Amazon and read reviews. Speak to people outside of the online world and delve into their minds. Then you want to create a swipe file and build out as much information and take note of the language they use in your industry. Now, if you want me to go into a full detailed video how to do this, just let me know below, because the next pro secret is the salesman versus the trusted advisor. Now, most people get this wrong. They pitch and pitch and pitch. They become salespeople, selling as much as they can. Now, this is not only annoying, but it's what's going to create more resistance. You do not want to be a salesman, but instead, you want to be your followers' trusted advisor. You want to be the go-to advisor that people can trust. Because remember this, you're not selling, you're recommending. Doing this puts your prospect's self-interest above your own. So just imagine how your prospects view this. Now, an example of being the salesman is, you can have this, you can have that, have this, click now, buy now. Instead, you want to say, I know how frustrating it can be to get to X. That's why here's 5 different ways to get out of X. And it's why I recommend, if any of these works for you, to give this a try right here. This is not selling, it's putting in empathy and giving real helpful action that solves the problems for your followers. Then moving on, diagnose before prescribing. Now, as I mentioned before, you're the advisor, you're recommending, and when you recommend, you must diagnose their problems. Now, think about this for a moment. If you think of a doctor, if a doctor prescribes you medicine without asking questions first or even checking you, would you trust the prescription? Hopefully you said no there. Instead, the doctor will ask you questions. They'll figure out what's wrong with you. They'll diagnose your symptoms until finally they prescribe something to help you. Most marketers will generally start giving solutions without really getting into their prospect's world and diagnosing their symptoms. So you should always write about what they're going through, being specific with their pains before leading to the prescription or solution. In fact, diagnosing is similar to the whole purpose of an email, because the purpose of the email is to bring up the problems of your prospects and lead them to the solution. Which leads to moving to the next pro secret is entertain, don't educate. Now, here's something where most email marketers go wrong. They think content is king and then they think they need to educate their followers when they send email. Now, in part, this is true, but not in ways that's expected, because yes, you give value, similar to Gary Vee's philosophy of jab, jab, right hook, but it's not about giving boring education, because people could just Google information. And the way our brains are being wired in today's society, with so much entertainment, we're needing consistent dopamine kicks to keep us engaged. So you want to entertain in your email. If you think about the salary of a teacher versus a Hollywood star, who do you think gets paid more? The person who has a degree and a diploma, or the person who acted in Avengers? Yeah, there's a big difference, isn't there? This is the power of entertaining. Now, an example of what to do and not to do is this. So here's what not to do. Did you know amino acids can help build muscle while you fast? Versus, holy crap, this ripped dude just benched 300 pounds with ease. When I asked him what he does to get that strong, he said this. Or another example is, if you meditate, it will help elevate stress. That's boring. Versus, wow, you wouldn't believe how this woman reacted when she embarrassed herself in front of everyone. She didn't flinch. In fact, she laughed and made it into a joke. But here's the thing, she told me later a secret how she handles anything that comes her way. Doing this, you're going to see massive improvements when writing your emails. And then the final email pro secret is, don't be a copywriter. Copywriting has its place, and most copywriters fall in the trap of turning emails into good copy. This is not what you want to do. Leave all copywriting to the side for sales pages and other types of landing pages. Because when you send an email, you want it to sound natural, like an email message to a friend or sending your family a text message. You're shining your personality and being real with your followers. You don't want to be a copy wizard, but instead a person with personality. It's similar to writing a social post. In fact, you can take your emails and use them in Facebook or other social posts. I personally sometimes take my best emails and use them directly in ads. So hopefully at this point, you should have a good perspective of some powerful things to include in your emails. And I don't want to bog you down with too much information, because sometimes less is more. Now, I will be creating a more detailed version of these pro tips in another video, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But saying that, here's the next part of the training, which is the 7-step template to write emails fast. Now, this template is designed to help you write your emails in the shortest time possible. It's designed to be action orientated to get you into action. And perhaps best of all, in time, when you get used to using this template, you can start writing without it. So treat it like a guide. So going into the first step, step 1, which is work backwards. You want to get clarity of the purpose and where you're going to send your subscribers. Is it to send them to an offer? Is it to visit content on your blog? Are you introducing other people's content? Is it a free giveaway? Whatever it is, always know the end goal first, so you can create a strategy for you to create your emails, because strategy leads tactics. And when you have the end in mind, you'll naturally know how to position your email, which moves to my next point of step 2, what's your angle? This is where you're going to find how you're going to angle the email in line with the after click. This is the story, a hook, a method, or even an epiphany. So an example of this is an offer for a hypnosis session of a part of a digital online business that I run. I would angle it with a common Q&A, question and answers from multiple customers. Starting it with a question, then going through the diagnosis and then pointing them to the solution. And another one was a rant, going against the skeptic of why they said hypnosis doesn't help. And then I gave 5 reasons why it does, to then lead them to the click. But to help you with this, here's a few ideas that you can use, which is, what's controversial in your industry? Has anything happened to you recently that you could relate to and fit into a theme? Do you have a transformational story to tell? Have you got a client or a customer story you could talk about? Is there a secret about your industry that you could share? Is there a celebrity you could talk about that fits into the context of your theme? Do you have a unique story that illustrates your offer. Now, also, here's a pro tip if you still struggle to find an angle. Go to Reddit, go to Amazon reviews or other places where your customers hang out and pull out stories or themes that can help give you the idea to use. Then step 3 is bullet the points. All you're doing is bullet the major points of what you should add, such as what's the point or moral of the hook or the story? Is there anything you can add to your story to make it more real, such as studies, testimonials, social proof, and so on? Just make a list of each of these points, write them down, and then follow on to the next step, which is step 4, transitioning to the CTA or call to action. So how are you going to go from your hook and transition to your call to action? This is where you take your reader to take action on the click in a way you might not think, because you don't want to be just direct too much and say, click now for X or get your discount here. Transition this in a way that gets the click with a better intention from your prospect. Because did you know, not only is what you have after the click important, but the before the click is just as important. It's a powerful frame that can be the deal breaker. So here's 2 powerful psychological ways you can do this, which is use credibility, such as, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. I've done this for over 5 years and I'm only wanting to give you the best. And my personal promise to you is trust me, this will make your year the best. As you can see, this is implying authority with the I've been doing this for 5 years. Then stating, I want to give you the best and my personal promise to you. This implies it must be good if I'm making it personal. So I'm adding the authority and I'm adding my personal promise behind that. I'm backing it up. Another one is to transition with who it's not for. Here's an example. Now, I don't want you to think this is for everyone, because it's not. This here is only for those who are ready to take the next step. For those who are not ready, just keep looking out for my emails because I have something special to start off with for you. Now this one is so powerful because it can create a reverse psychology, and also you don't want to sell to everyone anyway. Then moving to step 5, write your email. Now here you want to take everything you've done and write. Let go of thoughts, don't let anything block you, and just write. Don't make the mistake of stopping and editing or thinking too much. Just let everything flow, because you want to make everything sound like you're talking. And a pro tip here is to aim for around 300 to 500 words. But again, don't let this interrupt what you write. I don't want you thinking, oh, I have to get this many words down, because however long it is, it's however longer it needs to be. Now, it can be hard to start off your wording. So here are 7 quick lines you can use to start off with, which is the first one. Did you know the single biggest, this shares a secret? The number 1 easiest way to share a tip. The number 1 mistake I see is share a misconception, a myth, or a problem. Ever wondered why? Bring up a problem. What if? Bring up a bad situation. What to do if? Bring up things they've tried with no success. And finally, what you don't know about, just share an industry secret. Then step 6 is write your headline. Now here you want to get your prospect curious with your subject line. And just to quickly mention, you don't want to use any clickbait style headlines. Emails are all about forming relationships. Don't just get them to click for the sake of clicking. Instead, make your subject lines curious with some benefit behind them. And saying that, here's something you should know. When you form your relationship and build trust with your subscribers, they will automatically just click regardless of the headline. But again, here are 7 good headlines to start off with if you don't know what to put, which is first one, steal this trick, it's the number 1 secret to what you should never let X do. 5 signs that, the easy way to, who else wants, 7 steps to X in less than a month, how to do X without Y. And then finally, step 7, edit your email. Now this is where you're going to take everything you've done and turn it into your actual email you'll be sending. And the pro tip here is to edit the next day. Let your mind rest, let your subconscious connect, and then edit. I found personally that editing next day has always helped me spot mistakes, and I've also added better things that I wouldn't have thought of. But overall, editing is where all the magic happens. It polishes everything up and turns it into a diamond. So here's a few checklist points to look for when editing. Have you read the email out loud? Are you diagnosing or prescribing? Is the email entertaining? Remove sentences that don't add value. As you read it back to yourself, are you asking, why should they click? Now this is important to ask yourself, otherwise just remove it. Are your sentences short and snappy? Are you being specific, such as, do you have a good body versus do you have abs like Brad Pitt? Do you see how that paints an image? Is it confusing? If so, just remove it. Have you read the email out loud after you've edited? And finally, do you have a compelling call to action? And if you've done all of this, then congratulations, you have just created your first email. And not any email, an email that's got structure, it's got powerful psychological techniques and tricks. But as promised, I'm going to give you the 7 rapid fire psychological tricks to turn clicks into sales. Now, our brains, they can only handle so much information. So I'm going to rapidly fire each of these that you should definitely add in your emails, even your social posts and groups if you have one, which is starting with commonalities. Always add something you have in common with your subscribers. This makes them feel like you're just like them, such as if they like or do something similar to you, say it. For example, most tech people, they love action heroes. So if you like the same, you could say, I love watching the Avengers. Or if you're in the self-development niche, it could be, no matter where I am, I always have to have my earphones in listening to Tony Robbins. Stuff like this creates an affinity and bond with your followers. Next is use recognition. Recognize your subscribers. This can feed their significance and makes them know you're paying attention to them, such as, hey, I noticed you've been on my list a while now, and for that I have something for you. Next is create mystery. Showcase a bit of mystery behind you. Get them intrigued about something such as something you do no one else does, like a morning ritual, or even a blend of coffee or smoothie you make that gives you superpowers. The next is a secret language. Create a language of your own that's different and unique, something that's recognizable through you and your subscribers only. Then we have frequency. Show up as much as you can. Frequency beats quality. When you continue to show up, you become the person they see and hear all the time. That builds trust. Next is permission slips. People are conditioned to listen to authority. Since we were kids in school, we've been told by teachers, parents, authority bodies how to listen. And the more you build yourself as an authority, people will listen to you. That's why you can give people permission to do something, such as saying, it's okay to feel that way. It's not your fault. This is giving them permission that comes from you as we're trained to listen. And then finally, damaging admissions and favors. Admit things about yourself and show you have flaws and that you're human. When you show vulnerability, it pulls in your audience with a powerful emotional connection. And when you ask for favors, this automatically makes your subscribers engage with you, and it brings a closer connection to you and your brand. Sending emails such as, I need help, and then adding a quiz can make them feel significant and involved. And admitting things such as my bad habits is biting nails. It doesn't have to be something serious, but you should get the point. And that's everything you should know about writing emails that sell. Now this video is jam-packed with value. I was going to get into a longer details about each of these, but I didn't think there was any point if there wasn't many to watch it. However, you can skip the video to where you want to go, but make sure to watch this a few times. If you want me to go into this in more details, teaching you all the psychology behind all of this, let me know and then I'll create a video. But until then, if you found this video useful, it really helps to get it out in the algorithm if you hit the like button. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.